Hello everyone! Today we are not having a proper review video, and this is a new format kind of. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, and I'm not sure if you're gonna like it. This is just something that I would call a first impression on the few palettes because I don't want to dive deep into them for the proper review. I don't really have that much time. It's also somewhere in between the launches, so I'm trying to squeeze more things in and touch more palettes in general. So today we will be having 3 bigger palettes and 1 pillow gem. So this is something that we will do one makeup look together fully, then I will do a couple more one-eyed looks because that's just making things easier a bit, and I will tell you my first impression. This is not a review, this is not something I would suggest to think about generally, but it's just a first opinion that I have about the palettes as the palette reviewer generally. And if you will be interested, or you maybe bought some of these palettes already, maybe it will match your opinion, maybe not. So this is a new thing, and today we have a Cheeryep Pillow Gem in Chill Moonlight. We have Cheeryep Prelude, which is a spring launch. They already have a new one, which I don't have. And then we have Shellwe Makeup Nocturnal Flame. This is collaboration with Gold in Japan. A very interesting palette. And we have What's Up Beauty Skyfire palette. And as I said, we will do one makeup look together. This one is, by the way, with Cheeryep, and I will just guide you through some of the makeups and approaches how I do these things, and then we will take a look on the other 2 makeup looks that I've created with the palettes, and we're just gonna talk a bit and yeah, get the impression. So if you're interested in this format, if you want to see different palettes in action in the same way in macro that I usually do, and hear my opinion about some of them, well, all of them in this case, then my name is Val, and let's start. Hello, and I'm back, and today we have a very interesting video because this is something that I haven't done before. This is not exactly a review, this is a try-on. I do like to go in depth with majority of the stuff that I do, but this one is on opposite, just diving in to see what I can do and how it feels. It's not gonna be a proper review, it's just gonna be 3 main palettes today. We have wonderful Cheeryep spring palette, we have our Shellwe Makeup Nocturnal Flame, and we have Skyfire by What's Up Beauty. I also have these little pillows by Cheeryep, and they are Chill Moonlight palette of eyeshadow and the Drinking Galaxy highlighter. I also have a little palette of Freeze Dried Blush by the same brand, which is very interesting. I'm enjoying this little magnetic palettes, and I think it can be quite good, and we will just try things together. I may do a couple more looks separately with these items just to have a bit more understanding, let's say, a bit better understanding how the things work with them. But yeah, nothing too crazy. It's not a review. I'm not gonna tell you if this is worth it, what's about the formula. It's just a first impression kind of, and yeah, that's the idea, because I don't really have much time to deep dive into each of them, and I would just like to create a couple looks here and there with each and be done, let's say it like that. These are not the most interesting items in my collection, and this is the reason I'm doing it in such a way. I don't know if this will be good for you or maybe not, but I will try to still make it interesting and informative. Let's start probably with the Skyfire, because we have nude, goth nude, and then we have also one more nude, but it's okay. It's more of a satin nude and not some very nude-ish. Anyway, let's start with the Skyfire. This is how the palette looks. It has a lot of for me it's like a nude, something closer to Anastasia Beverly Hills, something in that direction, you know, with the cosmos and stuff. The shimmers are duochroming. When I swatched it, it was very smooth and kind of silky in the mattes. I know people are tired of description of mattes being silky, but that's just how it feels, like a fabric on fingers or very smooth powder, which they are actually. So I will start with the shade Drift. Drift will be my first one to get into the crease. so that we can understand how the blendability of these things are, and just bring it there for the sake of it, let's say. Then I will go into the shade Horizon. This will be my outer edge and approximately till the 2/3 of the eyes, and this just gives me a bit more control over the shade. I think it's very nice, also nude-ish shade in this palette. Then I'm going to bring it to the bottom lid a little bit as well, and I'm creating this kind of a loop, and it doesn't matter right now. I'm just testing the blendability for myself to see how the shades are mixing together, how they are interacting with each other. It's not for the actual look sake, it's more of just an experiment. We will go into the shade Haze. Haze is going to be the first part of the eye, the very inner corner. We don't have any white shade here except beige drift, but I think that pinkish haze will look wonderful here. We also have a possibility to create it in the pinkish nudish area, or in the blue, kind of golden, maybe rose gold, golden, something blue. Anyway, I'm gonna try it there and blend it together with the Horizon. I think I would also like to bring it to the inner corner to bottom lid. Once I'm more or less okay, I will go with the Midnight, and this is a darker shade. It has quite a lot of fallouts because I did not tap off the excess, so nothing to do with the eyeshadow themselves, it's just how the brushes will work in this direction. This is quite a darker one, but it's not black, it's more of a gray black, and I'm still going to go over with the Horizon on top of that because I don't need black in this look specifically. It will still look dark, but probably not too much. Then I'm going to the Horizon again, and from there I'm thinking about the shade Nebula. Nebula is more of a raspberry color, but it also mixes very nicely with the Haze, which is lilac-y shade. I don't know how exactly this works, but that's very interesting. I'm gonna apply it to the connection between the Horizon and Haze, and I'm gonna apply it also onto bottom lid slightly. Then I will blend again with the shade Drift, just to have more of a clean canvas. I'm also removing the excess that fell out of the brush with my fingers, because wet concealer just allows to do that without problems. I don't like to use any additional things in that way. And once I'm happy with the blending of this whole thing, I think we are ready to go into the shimmers. The shimmers here are basically in two areas. One is purple pink, as I said, with a rose gold. Some of them are duochroming, some not. I will start with the shade Galaxy as my main one. Trying to show it to you, it's like greenish sparkles in the pink base, something like that. Very smooth and kind of very thin. It's not oily at all, it's more crumbly dry in my opinion, so that's just what it is, and I'm applying it all over the lid. Next, into the inner corner, I will take the shade Comet, and this one is also duochroming from yellow to something purplish, like pinky purple, and inner corner I think matches pretty nicely with the other one. Then I will go into the shade Sky. Sky is more purple. Actually, it would fit much better with the Comet, so Sky and Comet are kind of working together, and I'm gonna just place it into the center of my lid, not gonna stretch it more, just into the center for the kind of work. And onto the bottom lid I will go into the shade Stars. It's the rose gold that we have here. Also the same formula, very smooth. The whole brand positioning is the luxury made in Italy textures, and it is truly something that feels luxurious and very easy to blend. However, the positioning of the cover, for example, and of the duochromes, multichromes, the name of the brand to me is pure indie, so I'm a bit confused, to be honest, about this luxury in indie kind of situation. I'm not sure how to think about it, but okay, that's just what we have. Then I'm pretty much done with this look, and I'm only missing my liner here. I should do maybe the full eyeliner. Maybe I will add some other interesting thing into this look, but I'm not sure yet. And that will be so far it. I think that looks good. So I will finish up the second eye back to you with the finished face. So this is the look. I feel a bit more luxurious, a bit more colorful as well, but it's not complete nude, but it goes into the nude direction. You can definitely get something more nude out of this palette if you don't use Haze, for example, if you don't use the Nebula, the Raspberry and Lilac-y shades. So if you go by the other row, you can get something more nude out of it for sure, and I want to try it. The only difference between what I showed you initially and what I have right now is this liner. Liner is the shade Flare that I just scraped a little bit with the spatula and mixed with the Duraline, and then with a very thin brush. This is Winsor & Newton round 4 zeros, so this is artistic brush, not a makeup brush, not a nail art, and this one is super thin. I usually use it for any graphic elements that I need to do, and I used it here. So the shade Flare is what I have in my crease pretty much. Also, it highlights the bottom of the liner just for the interest for this look, so it's not as monochromatic kind of purple. I'm not so sure about this Midnight. It's not completely black, but it's black, and it's very hard to describe. It's like a charcoal, so it has a bit of grayness or like smokiness that goes into the gray, but it's at the same time quite pigmented, and it just feels a little bit off. Maybe for me right now, I think this eye turned out a bit better with the blending, and the other one is a bit harder, like harsher in general. Anyway, I'm relatively happy with everything. I think it looks good. I think it feels really good, and the application was quite smooth. You do need a bit of a blending, but not too much blending. It's eyeshadow, so you don't have to deal with kind of a pigment stuff, but at the same time you may be more accurate with the darker shades. So that's what I figured out for now. It's not a review of the palette or anything. This is my first impression of things. Sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's okay. This time I think it's pretty good. Blendability I really liked. The shimmers are not creasing right now. They do not accentuate texture much. They seem to be sitting very nicely, so I'm totally happy with that. And they are not the most indie, if you know what I mean. They still have some interest in them, but they're more like, you know, the Cosmos palette by ABH. Something in that direction I think this palette goes, but I think this one is a bit smaller, but I'm not sure. I don't remember where my ABH palettes, and I don't want to bother with them. So I think yes, it feels more on the luxury side than the indie, but except the darker shades, so you have to be careful about them. For the shimmers, it's more of an indie shimmers, but with a touch of luxury makeup. Definitely not mass market, definitely not something that is very crazy to produce, so kind of okay for me. Do you have any palettes from What's Up Beauty? Because this is my first one, and I was sent it, and this is like first time trying them, and I feel like they are more on the daily side, a bit more boring, a bit more safe in a lot of cases. And I'm usually like, I really wanted the Dragon palette, but I don't want to buy something a lot of nude, if you know what I mean. I want color. The indie eyeshadow for me is about a color. I want the color in my life, because all the other things I do in my life are pretty much gray and beige, if I can say it like that. But yeah, I'm articulating a bit too much with my hands today, I'm sorry about that, but that's the reality that I live in. And yeah, so far I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I had an overload of looks with such a palette, so I don't think it's possible to imagine something super unique in this term, so I tried to just have a bit of a blend to understand how it blends, and a bit of a shimmer, and I think the only two shades are untouched here are green and blue. So this is 10, I think, something like that. So 10 shades. I touched 8 of them. No, that's 12 shades. So this palette is 12 shades, and we touched 10 of them, which is pretty good in one look. That means you can pretty much combine the whole thing in one look as well. Only 2 shimmers left, that's not too much. I will try to make more, but probably the one-eyed makeups, because it's a bit of a time, a bit of an effort, and I can do 2 eyes of 10 makeup looks in vertical, so I'm not gonna do it like that with the YouTube stuff. I'm just gonna do it the other way around with the vertical. I'm not sure if I will include it into this video, but maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. I have no idea how this is gonna go. But so far so good. I'm pretty happy with everything. I really like how I look. It's very cohesive and interesting and kind of good makeup on me. I enjoy how it looks. But that's so far it. Tomorrow we will touch together the Shellwe makeup and their Nocturnal Flame. So a bit more color, a bit more. Maybe I will squeeze something interesting out of it. But for now, what else do I have in my face? I'm using concealers all over my face right now. They just feel a bit more right, I guess. I do enjoy concealers more than the foundations. I try not to use foundations too much, but sometimes it's unavoidable. But concealers are main right now. And then I have a Sephora contour stick, still the same one, trying to finish it up. And then I have a She Glam blush. These ones are painted peony, but I'm not sure if that's already those that I took. I just took it out of the drawer, not scratched, but like put it on my hand and put it back without thinking that I will need help about them. So doesn't really matter. A lot of blush in the peachy tones, peachy rosy tones look the same on me. It doesn't matter what you use, so just use whatever you like. On my lips today, on my lips today, I actually have Huda, the marker, the lip stain marker. It's almost drying out, but it's still holding. It's been half a year approximately. Still a bit holding, but already not very good. And I used this palette by Cheeryep. This is Blossom Serpent. I think their last year spring palette or something like that. Blossom Serpent looks like this. They are much lighter on the lips on the face than they are in the pan. Today I have these two on my lips and they don't look dark at all, even though this one looks dark. And I have this one as my highlighter. This is the only powder in this cream palette, and I have this one as highlighter, just a little bit of catching the light. And that's pretty much all I have for you and for me for today. It's almost 2 a.m. I need to wash my face and go sleep because tomorrow is a work day, and additionally we are playing with Shellwe makeup. So see you tomorrow. And it is me again. And right now we are shifting ourselves to the Shellwe Makeup Nocturnal Flame. This is another palette we are trying today. I actually see the two distinctive color stories. One is an orange brown, one is blue, with cool tones and with warmer tones basically. But I want to try to combine them in one look right now. I'm not sure if it's gonna look good or look fine, okay, or whatever. But I will just try to use every shade in some way. And this will be the idea of this whole makeup. And then later I will do just one eye in blue, one eye in orange. I think that will be quite a good option, quite a good demonstration, let's say, in such a way. So I have something in mind which is basically a gradient and then some elements that are in different color. And we will start with the shade blue. These shades don't have names, and because of that I will just call them as they are. The light blue is what we are starting with. Into the inner corner, very vibrant blue. I really like how it looks. It's very nice in general, and I'm just setting it approximately to the first third of the eye, not till the center, but the first third. And also I'm slightly dragging it into the bottom from the inner corner. So nothing crazy there, but that's what we are working with. Next one is gonna be the very last shade in this palette. It's somewhat pinkish gray, but I think pink will pretty much mix with my undertone and I will end up with some nice gray, which is what's happening right now. I am going to apply it from the blue area outside of inner corner and up till the center approximately. The same I'm gonna repeat on the bottom lid just to have this shade there, and I'm gonna try to mix both of these shades with the light blue and this pink gray into one another. This is just to understand how the things are. I think it's quite hard to actually have a gradient in this palette without attaching it to the color stories. That are two distinctive color stories in here, as I said, but we will try. So I'm gonna take the next one, which is warm brown. I'm gonna apply it to the outer third of the eye, and from there, moving into the V of the outer shape of the eye, I'm gonna try to drag it and mix it with the previous shade, because I don't see any other transition shade in here. So this is the best scenario, I guess, that I can come come up with, and this is what I'm going to do. And the brown I'm just placing with one brush, and I'm going to blend it with the other brush so that it's a bit easier to work with, a bit more controllable, let's say. So yeah, that's the main idea here. And then I think I will go into the dark blue and into the bottom lid. I feel like that actually will fit there nicely. So that will be the idea. And then with a brush that is empty, I'm also going over just to blend things out a bit. And I'm pretty happy with the beginning of this stuff. So next I think I will go with the orange accents. I'm not sure how to approach this properly. The shade in the palette by itself probably will not work as I want it to work. So we are only left with the option to mix some gel or cream base, apply it nicely, slightly, and then top it off with the shade we need. So I'm gonna take the color case, this one is like pastels I think, and I'm going to, you can use white, doesn't matter, white gel liner will also work. I just want to kind of color match a little bit. I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but I will try to. So I want a little bit of swoosh, so a couple of swirls basically in front of the eye, in front of the brow basically, in the brow area. Then I will go with another like a U shape, so I'm trying to outline it in kind of U shape, and the other one will meet it on the other side, so that we have a kind of interesting element, I would say. Then also I'm going to take this color to the bottom to bring it into my waterline. Orange waterline is kind of fun, and I think this will look interesting in here, so I'm gonna do that, just dragging it off and stuff like that. And we need to top it off with the orange shade. Now when I'm more or less happy with what we have, I think I need to clean up a little bit. And the shade Crimsicle, I'm just gonna use the flat brush and go inside of these shapes that I've created just to clean up the area. I will also clean up the area under the brow. Important here is not to raise the brow too much. This is just my pain point that I cannot get rid of, and yeah, that's just how things are. I'm continuing to clean up the areas from inside of all of these things. Once the cleaning is okay, I think we can just add a little bit of colors back, since they are moving, they are living their life, blending and setting onto the lid, and because of that you may need or may want to bring some of them back. So I'm gonna go the same way into light blue, the pink gray and the brown, just a little bit to have it there. Now we are ready for our shimmers. I think the easiest way to start is the first shimmer that is like minty in color. It's a transparent base actually, and I'm setting it into the inner corner and dragging it under this shape that I've created, so that I can have the very shimmering inner corner and the area that is actually seen on my eye. And next one, I am thinking I will go into the darker steel kind of blue. It's not exactly gray or black, and I'm gonna just apply it to the bottom lid where we had our blue, dark blue in general, and that should work fine. Multichrome of green to orange. Green to orange seems like it will go nicely on top of the brown. The shade itself seems more satin, more smooth, so I'm just gonna bring it there, and with the finger it applies better than with this brush, but you can actually try to apply it with a regular flat brush as well. That should also work. And it matches nicely. It creates a slightly greenish brown, which is kind of fun as well. And then into the center onto our gray pink, I think I will go with the silver shade. It kind of makes sense to me to place the silver shade there, and inner area of the eye and up to the center to mix it a little bit with the darkest toad shade, as I wanted to call it. And then we are only left with the orange. Yes, orange to orange, is that what we're going for? And we cleaned up the area there a little bit so that the multichrome, duochrome, whatever it is, will just sit there and we will be fine with that. So I'm gonna apply our slightly flaky texture with the silicone brush onto the centers of each of the shapes that I've created, and of course into the tail not on the waterline, but just the tail, in order to have it there. Nothing too complicated, nothing too complicated as usually I'm ready to tell, but I think that kind of works as a whole palette. This is kind of what you create with a whole palette. Of course, it's not the only thing that you can create, but anyway, this is something that is possible. Now I think I need only the black liner and maybe some contact lenses, I'm not sure. I think the toad eyes also will work nicely here. These are kind of reminding me of a toad in general, so that's the idea. I will finish up the face and second eye, of course, and come back to you with the finished result. So this is the look I ended up with, and I am pretty confused. Like, it didn't give me any troubles. It works well, it works absolutely fine, but I have some questions to the color story. I don't see this palette as one color story. I see it as two different ones. One is a cool one in blues, one is the brown and orange with a bit of a gray pink. And I think because Ghoul herself is quite olive in undertone, she also chooses the colors that are having tendency to look better on olive undertones. For example, this greenish brown and the shimmer that goes from like orange red into this green, this is kind of in that direction. The toad makeup, actually, to me right now, this looks like a toad makeup. Not exactly, but like a vibe, just gives me some vibe. So I'm not against anything that I did right now. I would say that I could have been more accurate with some of the things, but right now it kind of doesn't matter that much. I am still pretty okay with whatever is happening on my eyelids. I think it doesn't look bad, but it also kind of feels weird, you know? I feel like these colors, I tried to make them like go from one into another, but this doesn't mean that they actually look good together. This is what I'm probably trying to say. And I'm very confused about this color story in general. I don't mind these colors separately. I think the formula in this palette is really good, but I still see two palettes. So one will be the blue and one will be the orange. That's my personal opinion on this palette. I don't think it's bad. I also enjoy this format, so I'm really thankful to Shellwe that they produce such a smaller format. It's more affordable, you don't need as much, it's kind of less waste to me, and I really appreciate that. I enjoy this format. Even though the big palette, you sometimes just want to hold the big palette, and it's a good feeling, but practically thinking, this is better. So I am totally okay with everything. Shimmers seem to stay normally. I think that they actually like kind of melted into the skin, like the shades themselves kind of melted into the skin a bit more, so they look more uniform, not like separate things, but more blended. Blendability was also good, so that's the first impression as well. I will do two more eyes, not the full makeup looks, but two more eyes with this palette just to have like a representation of looks, and I think I will go with separate ones. One is gonna be blue, one is gonna be orange brown, just like it's supposed to be, I guess. And yeah, overall I kind of like it, but kind of don't, so I'm quite unsure in this scenario right now. And I don't know, maybe you have something to tell me. Maybe it's your favorite palette and you enjoy doing the looks. Maybe you can show me some looks, just sending the link to whatever you created, and I will be happy to see, because inspiration grows in all directions, and I'm just gathering feedback from you the same way as you're seeing me here. So anyway, I'm pretty okay with everything that happens right now. I don't think it looks bad. I don't think that I made anything like too horrible looking in general, and it still has this, like, in terms of the color theory of how one goes into another, I think it works, except this orange accent that is somewhere. Sorry, I feel like I'm the German Shepherd. And yeah, but that's just reality of what we have today and right now. The most interesting shade in my opinion is of course this satiny shade that goes into green to red, something like that. Then we also have this orangey duochrome. We have something slightly in the mint, but not too much, and other two are pretty simple, I would say. So the yellow yellow shift on the orange is pretty strong, but the shift in the satin texture is not as strong. It's also like safer to use because the satins are more like okay for daily use, I would say. They're not sparkles, they do not give like boom anything, but yeah, that's just what it is. Okay, for now I'm done, and it's almost 2 a.m. so I gotta go sleep. And let's finish up quickly what else I have on my face. I have a concealer all over my face. It's a Tarte Shape Tape Creamy. That's just what I use right now, and I'm also gonna finish it up. And then I have a Sephora contour stick, still the same one, and I'm finishing it up as well. Then I have She Glam in Chestnut Flush. This is like, I wanted something in this corner, kind of. Do you see the vision? Do you see what I see? Something. Then as a highlighter, I have the Cheeryep pillow in Drinking Galaxy. It's a very sturdy pillow, and this is a horse themed one. So this is kind of slightly rosy, but I think it fits pretty much almost everything because it matches my undertone nicely. So this highlighter is going to be like quite universal for me. The more universal highlighter for neutral to warm, I would say, is Champagne, and this is how it looks after like 3 uses maybe. Then on the lips I have Miss Thais 776, and this is one of my favorite pencils. I think I want more of them, but I'm not sure how I can buy it right now. I will figure it out. And then I have this same collection, Shellwe Makeup and Brown Gloss. This combo is made for each other. So no patchiness, no anything, just a purple liner and then this gloss. Looks awesome, feels awesome. That's just what you have. I'm really into this combination. And this is so far it. That's all I have for now, and we will see each other tomorrow with new looks. So this is the last makeup look together. It's gonna be very simple, it's gonna be very nude in these terms, and I think this will also be just very simple. We have the Cheeryep Prelude, I think it's called, palette, and it's very cute. It's very spring like, and I like the green and brown combination. This is how the palette looks inside. I see actually 2 palettes in here. Sometimes they're separating it into 4, but here I see 2 distinctive palettes primarily, which is one of the cool sides with the pink, and one is the warm side with the peach, orange, warm brown and green, so that you can have like a separation between these two. I think I will mix both slightly, not too much. I'm not gonna use all the shades today, just maybe like half, but mixed together, something in that direction. So I will start with the lightest shade, light beige, number 2. Pretty much it has a little bit of sparkles in it, actually, the same way as on the other side it has a little bit of sparkles. And I'm gonna apply it all over the lid. Then I will go into the middle shade, I don't know, the 3rd in the 2nd row from the right side. I don't know how to describe that, but that's about it. I will try to show it as well. And this one I'm applying into the outer edge and into the crease, so I'm kind of outlining the crease for the future. Then I will go into the darkest brown in this palette. We don't have that many darkening shades, actually. It's not very dark in general. This is very nude palette in my opinion, so you have to be aware of that. And I am applying it to the outer shape, kind of creating the slight how to say, slight loop in my eyelid so that I can place the things in there. Then I'm gonna go back to the first brush, but without digging into the shade itself. I'm just gonna blend with it to the outsides, and I don't think I have enough color here. Like, I want something more. I want more color, I want more darkening, but we don't really have that here. And into the inner corner, I think I will go with the orange, just to kind of highlight the inner corner. Nothing special, nothing too crazy. I'm just blending things here and there. It's very soft, it's blending like it's nothing. So like no problems at all with this palette in these terms, but also no color pretty much. So for the daily use it's probably good because you cannot make mistakes, but for anything that is more artistic, something more out of this world, this is probably not the best scenario. So I think I will go into the shade that is on the bottom row, 2nd from the left, and try to kind of make it into the liner slightly, not too much, but also dragging it upwards. As I said, said, one part of the palette is actually more cool toned, the other one is more warm toned. So you can choose whatever you want. If you would ever want a nude palette that is like very light to work with, then I will go into the shade that is almost in the center, but from the left it's slightly pink, and I'm applying it with a finger all over the lid, and it's just like little sparkles, nothing too crazy. I don't see actual crazy duochromes or anything. We also don't have a peachy shade here. So then I will probably take with a silicone brush the shade number 1, which is slightly pink, and apply it on top of the orange. This will give us a little bit of peachiness, but not too much. You can see that they're almost semi-transparent, there's almost nothing in there. I also want to come back to this milky shade number 2 from the left or bottom to outline my bottom lid slightly, like in a Chinese fashion. They really do this outlines, and well, this is what we're going for. And I'm also going to use the shade number 3 also with my finger. I'm trying to grab it onto the finger, but not much is transferring, and I want to try to just give my center a little bit more sparkles, but this is very limited. This is very airy, and this is, I guess, the maximum I can achieve with this palette for now. I'm not sure that there could be something more to it. I think I will go with a brown liner this time. I may use also brown lenses, just because I kind of like it. But this is the maximum you probably can get out of the payoff of this palette. Like, for the beginners and for somebody who is doing the daily makeup and want to have this like a super easy to work with palette, this is good. But for me, as I said in previous review, I had one review on this brand, 2 palettes. I said that I'm not the biggest fan of lack of pigmentation. This is more like a luxury to me stuff, which I do not enjoy. That's why I don't buy it. And also they are mostly nude palettes. Of course, there are others that are provided and like generally built by the brand, but they are lacking something for me, I guess. More pigmentation. I just need more pigmentation. So I will do the brown milky liner, not too dark, just a little bit, and we will get the second eye also done, and I will come back to you with this face. So this is the look, and I am just... it's kind of cute, it's nice, it's very nude, it's very peachy, very daily wear. It's nothing too interesting in these terms because it's very wearable, very safe, let's say, because you don't have anything special. The textures are really easy to work with. They almost don't give much pigment. The same way as I said in my previous review, the actual review of the palette 07, they are very similar in these terms, and they are very safe. So for the beginners, for example, it's very safe. However, I don't like the pricing and price points in Europe and USA for this palette. I know that they can be cheaper, so this is a very tricky situation because the quality itself, for the price that I know about, like it's 16 to 20 bucks maximum, that for that price the quality is really okay and it's totally fine to use. And this look kind of contributes to all that. It's also very nice, and there is nothing that is too dark, there is nothing that is too light, too pigmented, too sparkly. It does give a bit of a sparkle, of course, but it doesn't give anything that I like indie for. I like the shimmers that right in your face. I like the pigment that is right in your face with its all power and its all glory. So I want to do more reviews on things like this rather than things like this. So nude palettes, even What's Her Beauty is somewhere on the edge of that. And I want to contribute to the actual like colorful makeup looks, I guess, because that's my creative outlet. That's my request of a soul, let's say it like that. So I don't think I will continue with this palette more. With the What's Up Beauty and with the Shellwe, that was quite interesting experience to trying things out, but this one is pretty much just a nude makeup. Nothing that will stand out, nothing that will be different. Just one side of the palette is more pink, one side is more peach, and you have green accent. That's all. It's safe, it's normal, the quality is not bad, but it's not interesting for me, just because I prefer to film videos about something that is more intriguing. I like to figure out formulas. This one is just good. That's it. And yeah, I probably will not continue, but this is something that I would use on a daily basis. This pink part, pink half of the palette probably is going to be my daily use for any scenario. So I usually do even less than this. I do like one lid shade, slightly darkening, and sometimes I do shimmer. Especially if I'm going for work, I need like 3-5 minutes maximum eye look, and that's what's totally working for me. So yeah, as a daily one, I would use it. For the reviews, I probably won't anymore. I also have another palette that they have sent me. This is something with a heart, and this one is a fully shimmering palette. I'm still not sure how to approach it. I still don't know how to like get into this, because it's very hard for me to just skip things, and it's mentally really hard because it feels like I'm dropping something. It's the same way as I'm starting the book. I don't like the book, but I cannot drop it because I already started. I need to finish. It's something that has started in my 20s probably. As a teenager, I didn't think much about that stuff, but right now it's just something that I feel obligated to finish, and that's why I tried to finish each palette first before proceeding. This drop is kind of necessary because I'm not going to be able to finish in time if I will continue just exploring more nude options, let's say it like that. So it's very pretty. The shimmers are really pretty. They're not going anywhere. They are pretty stable in the formula, quite dry actually. Mattes are quite nice. They are blendable. They are totally fine. Like nothing is in it that is out of the ordinary, but that's exactly what it is. It's ordinary. And I do like the design of this palette and everything that is connected to this, because it was one of the like spring kind of vibe palettes. But you can see how it just clashes with my personal preference of what I want to film about, and that's just what it is, I guess. Nothing else. So yeah, that's my thoughts for now. Maybe you have some thoughts as well. I would appreciate if you share them. And I think we are only left with few things. So I also have from the same collection the freeze-dried blush. These blushes are coming in the magnetic case, so this one is really easy to remove. You have like a couple magnets in there. They are very pretty, they are very satiny, but they are not very well applied with a brush. That's why I recommend using a little sponge. This one is Flower Nose that was sent to me by Katie's dad, and you just swipe it and then tap. It works wonders. So if you have some formulas that are not applied by fingers normally or not applied by the brush, you should try it with the sponge. This may help somebody, so I hope it will help somebody. So these blushes I really enjoy, and I think they look good as well. They're refreshing, they're very like buildable, probably not gonna be seen on the darker skin, but I'm pale as hell, and that's why they are seen on me. So yeah, Chinese makeup is generally not very seen. Like even on me sometimes it's not very seen, so I cannot recommend it for other skin tones. That's just what it is as well. I like something that I can recommend to like a variety, the range of people actually, rather than something. Except like personal complexion products, that's something completely different. I do understand that some brands do not produce some of the things. I just tell what I use, but I'm not saying anything about the overall product. That's why I try to stick to the palette reviews. It's just much easier than to live with that. So, we also are left with this little pillow. This is a Chill Moonlight pillow by Pillow Jam by the same brand, Cheeryep. And this one was with the horse, and I will do the vertical video with this one instead of the bigger one together, so that I can just test it out and see. And this will be my like final thoughts and intro look as usual. I also got like I have a couple of other palettes from the brand, and I got a couple of singles, so I need another magnetic palette. They have a nice magnetic system in these terms, but it's very specific only to their brand, so it's not interchangeable with others. Just something to mention, I guess. And what else do I have in my face actually? I have today NARS Sheer Glow in Oslo. Very nice looking foundation. I just found the ones that I used as in a kit basically, so I've been putting a little bit. This is probably like 10 milliliters or something like that, and I'm gonna just reuse them on myself now because they are not very good for the kit anymore, for the makeup artist kit, and they are still kind of okay. So on myself, I'm gonna use them. Then I have MAC Multi Sculpt in Taylor Gray as my contour. Then I have the blush here, the highlighter here, the same Pillow Gem with the horse. This one is a Drinking Galaxy. This one is a Drinking Galaxy, very nice one as well. And on my lips today I have the Hydra Honey by NYX, and this is just this nice, slightly pinkish, but more of a, how to say, it's more neutral, I would say, kind of fits to the peach, because the other one I took is a Bubblegum Burst and I think it's too pink for this look, but the peach to peach to peach is just monochromatic story. My brows, just to mention, are still bleached, but I used the ABH taupe on top, and that way it actually is true to color, but if I use it on my natural brows, it's not gonna be true to color. I have no idea why. Well, I have an idea why, because the color theory works that way, but I just prefer it like this. So when I don't want to scare people with my missing brows, I basically just cover them with that. And my approach with brow gels that are with color is actually, I am using the colorless fixing gel first. So I'm brushing through my brows with that, and then I only go lightly with the color gel. That way it looks more natural because you're covering also only the brow hairs. Nothing like gets touched, and you don't depose too much of the color as well. That's my way of working. I think it kind of works, and I think it matches also my natural roots pretty nicely. Oh yeah, so 10 minutes in. So it's already 2 a.m. and I need to do one more look tomorrow, as I said, with the pillow, and we will see each other in some just final thoughts about this whole situation to discuss what you think, what I think, and maybe it's a new format then. Let's see. So this is the last look with the Pillow Gem, and I want to tell you that if you want a Dior cashmere vibe, it's not the same in quality, but if you want the vibe, this is gonna be the closest I've ever found, because this one is just literally the satins from the palette in terms of color and like combinations, except maybe peach, but the browns ones are very similar in my opinion. I do have Dior cashmere palette and I'm not really reaching out to it. So we have the darkest shade, we have the medium shade, and we have the lightest, and I've created this look and I think it kind of looks good. They're all satins, no mattes, nor anything, and I also used this Melt Cosmetics Cocoa pencil in my waterline and as a liner, so I just smudged it after I applied it, and we get this look. So I think it kind of looks good, but it's also in the nude terms, so I don't think this palette is requiring more looks from me especially. So I think one and done is what we have here today. So yeah, as I said, maybe the quality is not the same, but the vibe is very similar, and if you wanted to try the Dior cashmere, maybe you kind of didn't know what to do with it, this is one of the options that is supposed to be a bit cheaper at least. That's my personal opinion and my first impression. You don't have to take it as a very aggressive thing. This is not something serious, honestly. So now let's have a short talk about all the palettes that I touched in this video, just shortly. Once again, it's not the full review, it's just rushing through, because as I said, I don't want to do a full review on each of these palettes, but at the same time I cannot just stop and not touch the shades. So I try to kind of find a balance, and I don't think this is going to happen often. I still love the deep dives, but this is something that I can get away with because I still touch few things with it, and maybe I can introduce this for like few palettes that were launched previously, and I can just do a couple looks and just tell you what I think. But yeah, it's more of a first impression still. So let's start with our Skyfire by What's Up Beauty. This palette was sent to me before the launch, and I'm really appreciating every PR palette that I get, because it's more content for me as well, not only as a content for a brand, but I am posting this, I'm doing this for myself, and I'm not spending money on that, so you have to understand this approach of the things. But however, I won't say anything that is like guidelines stuff, because this is PR and this is my personal opinion about that. So the palette itself is indie but wannabe luxury, so I understand that it's made in Italy and it's talc free and everything is like that, and it kind of really works good, but it's for me a nude palette. So it has a few options that are happening here, but the majority of the looks that you can get are either pinkish red or beige with black. So it's not the hugest variety of things. It's not the, I mean, it's just a pre-made palette. It's also magnetic, which is nice. So you can get the things out of it if you want to. This is a standard square pan, I would say. So nothing too crazy. The shimmers are here very on the drier side, so they're not going to crease. They're not very emollient. The mattes here are also good. What I'm not into is just the palette color itself, because this is speaking Anastasia Beverly Hills and nude palettes to me, and I'm not the biggest fan of that, especially for YouTube, just because I want the color. This is personal preference. This is nothing that has to do with the palette itself. The quality is good. I think the pricing is somewhat fair. Maybe I would love it to have a bit lower price, but also there are things like magnetics, made in Italy, all this stuff, right? So I'm gonna be like, if I was to purchase this myself, I probably won't purchase this, because once again, I don't tend to like the nude palettes. I don't really want to have multiple nude palettes in a specific way, and this is just not my personal favorite color story in regards to that. They are nice shades, yes, but something is still missing, and I'm not sure what exactly is missing, but every palette that I have seen from the brand has the same idea of being wearable, daily, luxury indie. This is too much. Too many things are in it, and this prevents me from buying. So this is not for me, but maybe it's for somebody. Nothing wrong with it. So I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just that I wouldn't have purchased it. That's it. But other than that, it's a good palette. If you like it, it's up to you. Next one, I want to talk about the Shellwe Makeup. Shellwe Makeup, I only have one palette from them, which is matte, and that was pretty good, but kind of very similar in shades on me. In this case, it's a different situation. So we have a collaboration with Gold in Japan, and we have these orange and blue shades. So we have two palettes, kind of. I don't see this as one cohesive color story. You can combine them, of course. Nobody stops you. But I still see them as two different color stories. One is warm, one is cool. So you have a fire and ice kind of situation. And I did exactly the fire and ice looks with it as well. Not only the combined, but separate. So the mattes in quality are really good. I really enjoyed working with the mattes. We have very interesting satin textured multichrome. So we have green going into red. We have one problematic shade. Problematic not in terms of being emollient or anything. It stains. Your eyelid will be pink after that shade. I do not like that, but it's just something that happens sometimes, and nothing that I can do about that. Just the fact. I like the blues, nothing special. Once again, they don't really have like a special effects shades in here except that one, but it's also not very seen on the eyelid, to be honest, because it's so smooth, and you have to apply it all over the lid in order for it to be seen. Others are fine, like nothing too crazy. I'm generally okay with this one. Probably not my favorite color story, but some shades are really nice, and overall I think it's a good palette. And if I would further purchase something from Shellwe or get them in the opportunity for PR, I would probably stick to the mini format, because you actually don't need more than that. Like, this is enough. This is enough to have fun, to try it out, to do a lot of looks with it, so you don't really need a big pan. So this one is totally okay. So overall, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun, but there are some things. Next palette is our Cheeryep Prelude. It's a fun little launch together with the blushes. I love the blushes. They are really nice, and freeze-dried formula is kind of fun. I would like more of these, that's for sure. This palette is very basic daily palette. Also no special effects here in terms of the shadows. Nothing that actually stands out. You have once again, two color stories. Maybe it's something happening with the Sea Beauty, I'm not sure. But you have two distinctive color stories once again. One is peachy green and one is more cool pink in that direction. So you have options to do the nude makeup in both of them. You don't have much of a darkening. You have a bit of lightening, but not too much once again. Not like white shade is in here. Some beige, some pink, some nice colors. If you want to use it for your daily makeup, just couple swipes and etc. Totally fine, especially I think for the price being. This is like a general collection, so nothing too crazy is gonna happen with it. And it's not bad. It doesn't give too much pigment, it's good for beginners. Nothing very interesting for me, especially for reviews, but trying it once at least is kind of okay. And I don't see anything bad, but I don't see anything special, so it's fine. It's just fine. Then about the pillow gem I already told you about. I also want to mention this highlighter, which is the Drinking Galaxy highlighter. This has a bit of a flowery feeling to it, the same way actually Charlotte Tilbury highlighters are appearing to me. So I find them very similar in texture, and they have approximately similar effects. So you have this nice glow, but it's not glittery, it's not out of this world. It's just some, as if like right now I'm slightly sweaty, as if I'm slightly sweaty and it's glowing. So this is the effect of this highlighter. If you want to save on Charlotte Tilbury, maybe this is something to think about. And I think that was pretty much it. If you have any of these palettes, please let me know if the opinions match. Maybe you think differently about them. Maybe you already love them more than anything else. But yeah, I think this is a fun format, and maybe I should actually introduce more of that. Maybe I can bring more palettes into one video in between the launches, because we will have a few more launches in June, pretty much, like end of May, June. And I'm hoping that I will get some to work with, because it's fun. And if you liked some look, if you liked some stuff from this video, please let me know. I would really appreciate that. I like when you give me feedback. This is just something that I was missing for a long time on YouTube, just posting this big ass videos, and yeah, like I'm talking to myself, which is kind of true. I'm still talking to myself. But when you get a feedback, it changes a bit the narrative. So if you liked this video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want more palettes and you have ideas of what I can combine into such format, then please let me know in the comments as well. I really appreciate your watch and you staying here till the very end, and we will see each other in the new video very soon. Bye.